Hi, Fresh Day here with Amino Zed, and today I'm really excited to get started on webinar number 5. This webinar is on the most popular and most effective resistance training exercises. We've got 7 exercises, and I'm going to take you through some technique cues and just some pointers for these most effective exercises. So for our personal training clients who are out there, I hope this is a really useful tool for you guys, because sometimes the animations that we have are either too basic or the animations that we're using aren't really giving you enough information. So this video is not for beginners, because I'm going to be going through the big exercises very, very quickly. We're going to run through squats, deadlifts, overhead press, so that's the shoulder press. We're going to do a bench press or chest press, and then we're going to do some dynamic exercises. 3 dynamic exercises are the kettlebell swing, the clean press, and then the third one is the snatch. So starting with the squats, my helpful person here is going to demonstrate, and I'm going to give you a couple of cues. So for a squat, you're going to always be using, let's say if you have a barbell, you're going to be on a rack, and you're going to be taking the barbell off the rack. So you approach the barbell facing forwards. Place your hands just outside of your shoulder width. Pick it up on the traps. If you squeeze your shoulder blades together, the traps will pop up, and the barbell should sit on your traps. Lifting the bar up off the rack. Just taking one step back from the rack. Set your feet to the comfortable position for you. There's no one right way. However, some research has shown that the strongest position for the feet is to be pointing forwards, but actually slightly out sideways at a 45-degree angle. So somewhere between straight and a 45-degree angle. To start the squat, go ahead and start. Starting the squat, the motion is always, go ahead and stand up. The motion is always starting and finishing with the hips. So the hips are going to come back first with the waist, and then the knees are going to bend. Go ahead and do a few reps. And we're going to go all the way down. So take a look at how deep she's going into the squat. Again, research has shown that deep squats like this going all the way to the bottom is not harmful in your knees, and it actually causes a stronger knee joint. So things to remember: as you go down to the bottom, rebounding right up right away, push the knees to the side. When you get stuck at the bottom like that, what we want to do is not let your knees come caving in, and you push the knees out to the side, and that's going to activate the glutes, and that's going to get you a bigger, stronger squat. Finished, step in directly into the rack, hit the rack, let it slide from the rack until it's in the position, and step back from the bar. So I hope that helps a little bit with the squat. We're going to also quickly go over front squat. Back squat is supposed to be the strongest one. The front squat we use to strengthen the core more, and then it's going to be using the same muscles of the legs. So to approach for a front squat, don't use the cross grip. I don't like this one at all, because in case you need to lose the bar, it becomes difficult as it can get trapped into your arms. So we're actually going to use a clean grip. So placing the hands again just outside of your shoulders, palms up, elbows go very, very high. You're going to stand up fully, extend, step back from the bar, one step. Elbows are going to stay high the whole time. If you find this position really impossible, it's just because your shoulder joint and your lats are tight. So keep stretching, keep pushing, keep the elbows as high as you can, keep pushing. And the barbell should be resting in the front on your deltoids. So it shouldn't be up in your wrist. This position would be incorrect. If it's resting in your wrist like that, that's incorrect, and it's going to be painful on your wrist. You're not going to be able to lift a very heavy front squat. So it's up on the deltoids, elbows are going to stay high. Same thing, she's going to start from the hips, pushing the hips back and then dipping down. Elbows stay high, weights on her heels. Same thing here. When you get stuck at the bottom, you push your knees out and you push up. A little trick I also use in the front squat is I focus on pushing my elbows up as high as possible. Very nice. When we're done, let's take one big step back into the rack, all the way in, onto the rack, step back from the rack. Pretty simple. That's your front and your back squats. Most effective lower limb exercise by far. Alright, we're going to move on to the deadlift. Okay, so we're getting ready for the deadlift here. I've got 5 kilo plates on this barbell. So there's a bunch of different ways you can do the deadlift. There's a straight leg, single leg. We're just going to focus on the regular, standard deadlift, the kind that you see as powerlifters doing. So the heaviest possible amount of weight that you can take from the floor up to your waist. So you can approach the bar. Shins should be very close or on the bar. Hands are going to be placed at about your, just outside of your knees. Go ahead, position. There's a whole bunch of different ways that people grip the barbell. Inverse coordinated grip. Inverse grip is one palm up, one palm down. And you're gonna set your back, bend at the knees. The advantage on this is to keep your arms as locked as possible and your body as high as possible. We're gonna start to pull the deadlift. And we're gonna try and keep the bar as close as possible. If the bar is out in front of you, so bend at the hips. If you find the bar is coming out outside of your hips, outside of your thighs, and it goes out too far, it's gonna be at a disadvantage to you. So starting again. Down. So we're going to start with the quads, lifting the hips. Your hips a little bit higher. So start extending from the knee, and then we're going to start extending from the hip and push your hips into the bar. That's the easiest way to get the bar up using your entire posterior chain. So we're really going to engage the glutes in the second part of the lift. Reverse the movement. Starting from the hips, and then down to the legs, bending at the knees. This is her most advantageous position to be in. So she's starting a little bit forward over the bar. We're going to leave it at that for the deadlift. We're going to move on to bench press. Alright, so here we are ready to do bench press. We've got the rack set up at a specific height, and we've got the bench set up at the specific place. We want to be placed so that your eyes are directly under the barbell. That's the first thing. So how high you are, you want your eyes to be under the barbell when you're in this position. There's a safety reason for that, and I'll get to that in a second. Second thing is that when you reach up for the barbell, go ahead and reach up, you want it positioned at the most advantageous place, which is as high as possible. So as high as possible, so like when you unlock the bar, it's just an inch off of it. So when your arms are fully extended, they're in the strongest position. So if you're lifting a very heavy weight, when you take it off of the rack, you'll be taking it off from an advantageous position where your arms are almost locked and you're just pushing it into a locked position. Alright, so for the bench press, you're going to take it out from where your eyes are, lift it up. Choosing your grip, of course. Narrower grip means you're going to get more triceps. Wider grip means you're going to get the wider part of the chest. And we're going to dip down right over the chest. So now, because she had the rack set up under her eyes, go ahead and press it out. Right here, there's enough space between the rack and her bar. So your bar will never get caught in the rack. Alright, so a couple of things when you're benching, go ahead and do a bunch of reps. So over the chest, directly over your nipple height, pressing it out. All of your energy is going to be focused on pressing the bar up, but it's not just an arm exercise, not just a chest exercise. Your abs are going to be fully engaged the whole time, and a really good tip that a powerlifter gave me was to push your heels into the ground. So every time you pump the bar up, push your heels deep down into the ground, and make sure you're extending all the way, make sure you're getting all the way down to an inch or a quarter inch up off of your chest, so as low as you can to get as much range as you can out of the pecs. And of course we're going to exhale on the press, inhale on the down. Remember, you can go as slow as you want on the down because the eccentric motion is going to be what causes the most muscle tear. Okay, when you're done, put it back, racking on the bar. I hope that helps you for the chest press. So we're going to move on. The next movement is going to be the overhead press. Okay, here we are set up to do a shoulder press or an overhead press. We're starting with the barbell in the rack position. Easiest way to pick it up is from a front squat position. So approach the bar, hands are going to be about shoulder width apart. We're going to stand up with it, take one step forward so you're out of the rack. Of course, this is from a standing position, so this becomes a full body exercise, and that's why I've chosen an overhead press and not a seated dumbbell press, because that's a totally different movement that completely isolates the shoulders, and this one's actually going to use the whole core. So you're going to take a deep breath. The air pressure will stabilize your core and it will stabilize your abdomen. So take a deep breath, and she's going to strict press it, so no pushing. She's going to pull the elbows back as she pushes the shoulders up overhead, and it's going to finish. The finish position is with the arms beside the head. Not in front of your face. Can you bring it forward so it's over your face? It's a heavy barbell, so this is an incorrect position. This changes the center of balance to over here versus over your spine, which is the strongest position. Okay, bring it down. Do a couple more. Nice strict press. Take a deep breath. If you're pressing all the way from here to up, you're getting the full range of the shoulders. You're getting the full range of the triceps. Far more effective than holding the barbell up at the ears and pressing from there. In addition, a lot of people are pressing from back of the neck. The problem with that is there have been a lot of cases of pinched nerves in the neck and in the upper part of the spine. as a result of pressing from behind the neck. So that's why we don't see people giving those exercises to athletes or in any strength and conditioning programs. We don't use those anymore. And in addition, this exercise is just as effective as behind the neck, so there's no point in doing something that could damage nerves in your neck. All right, we're going to step back. The second movement that we're going to do is a push press. And I like a push press because that gives you even more of a full body workout, making it just a much more effective exercise. So in 10 reps, you're getting a lot more out of 10 reps with that compared to a seated dumbbell press. So we're going to go ahead and try it. Set up in the exact same position. Putting the weight on your shoulders, and now it's going to be really important that the weight is sitting on your shoulders, because when you dip for your push press, it's going to be really important. So feet are in a stable position, whatever's comfortable for you, and we're going to push. So do a little dip. So your dip's going to be about 2 to 3 inches, and I'll say that in centimeters. It's going to be no more than 10 centimeters. Dip to a comfortable point, and then squeezing from the glutes, squeezing from the quads, you're going to press the bar out overhead. Then you're going to bring it down in a controlled manner back to the shoulders. That eccentric motion is going to be quite heavy, and that's really going to help build shoulder strength as well. Okay, so that's the overhead push press. We're going to move into the dynamic movements now. So I've got 3 for you. The kettlebell swing is a traditional Russian way of training, and the clean and the snatch, of course, are the Olympic lifts. So we're going to start with a kettlebell. Here's a tiny kettlebell. This is what a kettlebell looks like. This is a miniature kettlebell. It's only 5 kilos, and it's for learning how to use a kettlebell. Most kettlebells are going to be starting at about 12 kilos and beyond, and some of the heavier ones are, you can even get a 50 kilo kettlebell, 60 kilo kettlebell, and they're a super efficient way of conditioning the body. This works primarily with the posterior chain, which is the hamstrings, glutes, and the back. So this is used in a number of different ways, and we're going to show you how. The traditional swing for this is a double-handed swing. So you got 2 hands on the kettlebell, and the idea here is going to be to create a pendulum where the arms are completely relaxed, the shoulders are completely relaxed, and all of the power that's being generated is coming from the hips, and that's pretty much it, the hips. So here we go, we're going to start from a low position. Okay, now she's hardly going to bend her knees at all. The only reason you're bending the knees is that so that you clear your pelvis. So what this motion is basically doing is she's catching the weight into her hips, and she's thrusting her weights forward as fast as she can. Shoulders are totally relaxed, hands are pretty relaxed, back is super tight, and all of the force is coming from the glutes. So with every push forward, you should feel a complete contraction. You'll also feel it in the hamstrings, and just a really great motion here. So with these, you'll do a whole bunch of reps. Some things to focus on when you're doing some cues for yourself. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Keep a firm grip on the kettlebell. And you can switch into a one-hand swing. Try a one-hand swing. One-hand swing is the exact same thing. One hand can go behind the back. If it's a heavy kettlebell, one hand will go up in front of the bell. The other hand, keep it up in front. Yeah. So it'll be following the motion for balance. And the whole motion is going to be thrusting the hips forwards, catching the weight, thrusting the hip forwards. And that's good. So that's a kettlebell swing. The next movement that we're going to move on to is the clean, and we're going to do a clean and push press, which we already covered the push press, so here we go. Okay, so here we are, we're ready to start the clean. So if you can see the barbell, I've got it up on blocks, so it's a little bit higher than the floor, so you're not doing too much guesswork. These plates are all standard size. When you're doing any of the official lifts, they're always going to be 8 inches up off the floor, so you'll always be starting from sort of a mid-shin height. However, disclaimer, make sure that you start these lifts with an empty barbell and work very slowly, progressively up with your weight. So add 5 kilos at a time to find out your limit. Never throw on full-size plates and try the lift. Okay, so we're going to do the clean. So we're going to do 2 types of clean. I'm going to start with a power clean, and then we're going to do the full clean. So a power clean means that we're going to power the bar up as high as we can onto the bar and rack it up in the shoulders. And that's what the clean movement is. Go ahead and start one. So we're starting hands just outside of shoulder width, just outside of your hips. Hook grip, thumbs underneath your fingers. So wrap your thumb around the bar, wrap your fingers around the bar. Pulling up the shins, up the thighs, and catching on the shoulders. And remember that up here is not in your wrist, it's again sitting up on the deltoids. Do it again. We'll do 5. So she's going to slowly drag the bar along her shins, and then it's going to brush up against her thighs. And she's caught it super high. So she's been able to generate enough power to bring the bar up as high as possible, and she's catching it at that height. So you saw she pulled the bar up to about her chest height and was able to jump under the bar. And you can't hear her feet maybe, but her feet are hitting the ground hard as she jumps to catch the bar. So in that position, she's pulling up, jumping down, catching the bar, and standing up. Important cues. You should never feel like the barbell is slamming into your hips. You should never drive your hips forwards into the bar. We're pulling the bar in gently and sliding it along the thighs to catch it in the right position. So we never want to have the bar being hit. Can you put it at your waist? So you never want to be pulling the bar, start from the shins, and hit it bar, pull it up, and hit it from here. This is the wrong position to be hitting it from. You want to slide it along the thighs. That's really, really important. And then next thing is that when you catch it on your shoulders, do another thing. When you catch it on your shoulders, you want to make sure that you're meeting the bar. So not that the bar, she's finding where the bar is and landing in that position to catch it. So instead of the bar coming around and hitting her shoulders. So that's what a good power clean looks like. Now, if you load this up, a lot of strength and conditioning programs include this. It's really a full body exercise, and I just want to emphasize her starting position. So go ahead with the starting position. When she starts, the bar is at about between the ending of her toes and the arch in her foot. That's where the bar is placed. And her shins are not parallel. Her weight is on her heels and on the center of her foot. So she's not pulling with her heels up off the ground. Her back is nice and tight. Her shoulders are over in front of the bar when she starts the pull. And her shoulders will always stay covering the bar. So that means that pull very, very slowly just to your waist. So as she pulls, this is what it would look like in slow motion. The knees come out of the way. The shoulders stay vertically on top of the bar. And now she's going to bring her pelvis forward and pull the bar in towards herself so that it slides along. And there's a slight shrug here that happens. Don't focus on the shrug or on the pull, focus more on the catch. So once she's past her knees, she's already thinking about jumping under the bar. So go ahead and do one more time. So as she passes her knees here, she's thinking about the jump, she's jumped, and she's caught it. That's what a power clean looks like. So we're powering the clean. So a full clean, an actual clean that you would see in Olympic weightlifting, you'll notice that there's an extra, sort of looks like a front squat. So we'll go ahead and do one of those. Approaching the bar in the same way. Hands shoulder width apart, or just outside of the hips. And the pull is going to be the exact same. However, this time, let's say the barbell was heavier and she wouldn't be able to catch it so high. She'd have to catch it in a lower position. One more time. So just take a look at where the barbell actually travels. If you look at the height of the barbell here. So the barbell came up in a very vertical position, and she's caught it in a low front squat, and then she's going to stand up. So that's what a full clean is going to look like. Some cues for you: make sure that the elbows are high. The elbows cannot touch the knees at any time. Again, this is a pretty risky movement, so have a really good look at this, and have a look at other professional videos of other people who know Olympic lifting and what they're doing. Make sure that you're not hitting your hips, and be sure that the elbows are not touching the knees. So we're going to move on to another one of my favorite lifts. Maybe save the best for last. The last one is the snatch, and same thing. I'm going to show you a power snatch, and I think I'm going to show you a hanging snatch, so a snatch from the hang. So this is another Olympic lift. So the objective again is to bring the barbell from the floor into a locked overhead position. We're going to do one power snatch. The power snatch does not involve the full squat at the end. So we're going to use a wide grip. We're also going to use hook grip, so thumbs underneath. So super wide grip. The grip is wide enough that when the bar is hanging at your waist, your arms are straight, and that's how you find the right grip for you. So we're going to start, back is tight, same pull as the clean along the shins and then along the thighs, and then we jump into position and stand right up. So what she's done here is that she's pulled the bar, put it down, she's pulled the bar up as high as she can to the waist. The bar continued to travel up, and as it was traveling up, she jumped down. Of course, those two things happen simultaneously. So she pulled the bar, she jumped under the bar, and the bar landed in her arms fully extended. Show it one more time. This time I want you to carefully watch the pull part. Back tight, hips are high, shoulders are covering the bar, and she catches it in a high squat position. Okay, some things to note here. You should be jumping. So the time between when she was pulling and when she got under the bar, there was a jump there. You should be able to hear your feet slamming and hitting the floor. If you're not doing that, then you're doing it incorrectly. If your hips hit the bar and you feel like it's hitting your pelvic bone or your pubic bone, then you know that you've got your grip wrong. So I'm gonna run over the grip one more time because that's a bit of a tricky one. So when the barbell is at your waist, here hanging in the hanging position, this would be too narrow. We want to widen the grip so that the bar level raises. So the bar right now is sitting right in my hip, in the fold of my hips, and that's the correct position. So that's right in my waist. It's not in my stomach, it's not on my thighs, it's right in the middle. That's my snatch grip. So that is what a power snatch looks like. So we're powering the bar up as high as we can and catching it without doing a deep squat. The second one that I'm going to show you how to do is a hang snatch. Hanging means that the bar is hanging at the waist. Again, a super effective exercise. Take a very light barbell if you can, not even a full barbell to start this one. So for this one, we're going to actually skip the pull part portion. So we're going to start with the bar hanging at the waist. Make sure you've got your right grip. Make sure you're using your hook grip so your thumb is hooked underneath your fingers and the fingers are wrapped around. This is really important. You want to keep the shoulders relaxed and rolled forwards. You want to keep the elbows relaxed. The arms are actually doing nothing in the Olympic lift. So that's both the clean and the snatch. The arms are doing nothing. The arms are just attaching your body to the bar. And your body, your legs, your glutes, and your back are going to be doing all of the work. So from this position, she's going to slide down her thighs and then slingshot the barbell back in the opposite direction and catch it overhead. Some things to note here for yourself. We'll take a look at it again. She's going to jump. So the time when she switched, she actually jumps and catches the barbell. If you don't jump, you'll notice the weight feels a lot heavier and you'll be a lot slower. One more time if you got one in you. Alright, so one more thing I want to point out. Can you do another one? Okay, one more thing I want to point out. As she drops down, the shoulders are falling forwards and the hips are moving back. Stand up. That is the correct position. The incorrect position would be if your hips stay straight, the hips stay straight and the knees start to bend. That's incorrect because the shoulders are way behind the bar and the knees are moving forward. Bad position for the knees to be in. Another incorrect position would be the hips going all the way back and the barbell falling forwards. This is incorrect because once you jump, your hips are going to slam into the barbell, causing the barbell to move forwards and around in an arc. That is incorrect. So we want the barbell to slide down the thighs and up the thighs. And you can actually practice that a few times. The barbell is moving in a totally vertical position here. Push the hips back just a little bit more. Very nice. So pump that one out a few times, and then you're going to go into a full hang snatch. I'll show you one more time. Snap into position. Make sure that you jump with your feet. Lock it out. Make sure the elbows are locked. And finally, you want to make sure that the barbell is above your spine. This is the strongest position for her, and if I were to put more weight on the bar, she would still be able to hold it because it's locked. Her elbows are locked. Her shoulder blades are locked. And it's in the strongest position that she could possibly be in. If it was in front of her face or in front, just bring it a little bit in front, she's already shaking because that is not a strong position to be in. If I were to push on it, that barbell would come right down. Okay. Very good. Okay, so that covers our 7 lifts for today. I hope that those tips have been helpful for you guys. I hope that clears up a little bit, especially when it came to the deep squat and some of the complex dynamic lifts. And if you're one of our personal training clients, for you guys, I really hope that that helped out for the animations, for the little specific details. In the future, I'm going to post more up for technique cues for other exercises. Again, my name is Fresh and I'm the trainer for Amino Z. And stay tuned for our next webinar coming up next week.